J-Knight, Batrep.
Welcome back to this Dark Potential Battle Report. It's back to my turn for my Reclaimers. So I decided to move up my Initiates just so that half of them are covered for an extra armor save. And I decided to shoot down at the forward observer. So hopefully I can kill that forward observer and prevent a future attack. I need a 6 to hit. And I decide to use a command point to reroll. But I fail. I then move up my second forward observer and I try to mark the squad of Initiates. I hit, so then I can use my Redeemer and make a special rocket attack on them. I put my template over 4 of them, and I need 5s to hit, and luckily I roll a perfect hit on them. So I have to roll 4 dice, 4 or less to wound them. And then I spend a command point to reduce one of those to a 4, so that way I kill 3 out of my potentially 4 guys. And because they got hit, they need to take a leadership check on a 6. They fail with a 7, and then use a command point to bring it down to a 6 so they pass. My commander moves up and tries to kill his forward observer. I need a 7 to hit, so I fail. I use a command point to reroll, and I hit with a 5. I now need a 5 to wound, roll a 5, and he gets D3 wounds, and I roll a 1, so I really want to get a 3. So I reroll it using a command point, and I roll 3 wounds and kill his forward observer. I then move up my other squad of Initiates close to that one objective just to see how much it's worth. As you can see, I'm just moving them up, and we're going to see how much it's worth. So I roll a dice, and I roll a 4, so that one objective is worth 1 point. I then run my Redeemer around the corner to get a better straight shot off. I need to roll a dice to see how much that objective is worth, and I roll a 1, which means it explodes, but it fails to wound him by rolling a 5. So another objective is blown up on me. Luck is not going my way with these things. Now it's time for Adam's Reclaimers, turn 2. So he reloads his command points and tries to shoot at my squad, needs a 5 to hit. So he uses his command point from his forward observer to see if he can mark them, and fails again. So he uses another forward observer to, command point to reroll it, but once again fails to mark that squad. Next, he decided to move up and activate his commander. So he moves him up to get a line of sight shot, and of course moves his command points up with him. And to see how much that objective is worth, rolls a 3, so that objective is also worth only 1 point. But luckily it didn't explode like it did on my Redeemer. He then decides to shoot at my commander with his commander. He needs an 8 to hit, and rolls a 7, so he does hit. Then needs a 2 or less to wound, since my guy is in cover, and gets +2 to his armor. And luckily rolls a 2, so he ends up doing a wound, and rolls D3 number of wounds. So first he rolls 1, and he uses a command point to potentially reroll that, but rolls another 2. So he uses another command point to reroll it, and rolls a 3. But he really wants a higher number, so he uses another command point to reroll that 3, but rolls again a 2. Luck is not on his side, so he grabs another command point and rolls, and this time finally gets a 3 out of the potentially D3. So there's only 2 more wounds left on my commander. He activated his other squad of Initiates then, the one that's been pretty much decimated by this point. And they try to shoot at my Redeemer. He needs a 6 to hit, and rolls a 5, so that way they'll get 1 full strength hit. He decides to use a command point and reduce it down to a 4. That way he gets 2 full strength hits on my Redeemer. And needs 4s or less to wound. He fails 1 of them. So he once again uses one of the commander's command points to reroll that, and fails again. So in the end, I only have 1 wound taken off, and I have 2 wounds left on my Redeemer. I have to roll a morale check for my commander, and I fail. So I use one of his command points to reduce one of my dice by 1. That way I pass my morale check and I don't fall back. And then I roll a command check for my Redeemer, and I fail. So I use a command point to reroll it, but I fail again. So that Redeemer will be falling back and cannot move towards my opponent in the following turn. And also gets a -4 penalty to his shooting. Next, he advanced up his other squad of initiates. Once again, trying to get a good shot off on my squad of initiates that are in the higher building, and also to potentially grab that objective in the next turn. That's worth 2 points. In games like this, it's very important to grab objectives, because that way you can get early points early on and potentially run off the board. That would double that value to 4 points, and that would be a very hard thing to come back from for me. So he decides to shoot at my squad of initiates up high. He needs a 9 to hit, and rolls a 9. So he would get 1 minus strength hit on the squad. He uses a command point to reroll that, and rolls a 6. So that's much better. That way you get 3 extra hits on the squad. Needs 2s or less to wound, unfortunately, and only rolls 1 dice less than 2, since my guys are in cover. So it only ends up killing 1 of my 3 or 4 initiates. I need a leadership check, and they're not within the command range, and I need a 4, and luckily I roll a perfect 4 to pass my morale check. So things are looking good for me. And finally, he just moved his Redeemers around the corner. So thank you very much for watching as always, and when you're ready, click on the link below to go to part 3 of this Dark Potential Battle Report. Also, please like the video, comment in the comment section down below, and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't done so.